the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
You know it's another OPK classic.
All right, so as we were saying, UMB is 50, and I'm happy to introduce into the show the CEO, Nana Dwemoh Benneh. Nana, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Benard.
How are you doing?
Very well, and always a pleasure to be on your show.
Congratulations on 50 years of UMB.
Thank you very much.
Wow. The bank was founded in 1972. I'm thinking of what was happening in Ghana at the time. This is like difficult 70s.
Indeed, it was just, if you like, the beginning of the 70s. And I think it was a time when the economic development was sort of taking off.
Yep.
And I think when the bank was being set up, I mean, the pioneers were thinking of bringing an aspect of banking which was not in the country yet to help the capital markets. And introduce a way of infusing, if you like, capital ultimately into building new businesses and new structures and organizations that will help the economy develop further.
That was what I remember, a merchant bank.
Yes.
So it was capital.
Yes. So merchant banking at that time was more the investment banking aspect of it, which then led to the beginnings of the formations of the stock exchange, where people could now start raising equity to help businesses to thrive. Remember the time that we were still in the euphoria of a new independent Ghana.
Yes.
And I think there was a focus to have Ghanaian institutions start to build and develop the economy and reduce the reliance on, if you like, the foreign influence in the economy at the time. So exciting times.
How has it evolved, though, from the merchant bank? It's now a universal bank. Can you trace the evolution? What are some of the key sort of transitions?
So Merchant Bank had a great heritage in terms of some of the big landmark things they did. They were very much involved in the formation of a number of key financial institutions in the country. The stock exchange came from some of the alumni of Merchant Bank. Republic Bank, HFC, also came from there. The late Baba Baita Ansa was alumni of Merchant. Even the formation of Carl, formation of First Atlantic Bank. Jude was also alumni of Merchant Bank. So there was a lot of involvement there. And then you move into the 80s when we were going through the divestiture program. Merchant Bank was one of the key lead arrangers in a number of those landmark deals as well. So the purpose for which it was set, we saw massive success in the 70s and in the 80s. And then as we go into the 90s and in the early 2000s, we started to expand towards the universal banking license. And I think the idea behind it was that we'd made a lot of success in the building of businesses, working with the Ghanaian entrepreneurs to build these big businesses. And the skills we had gained was very applicable to the other sectors of the economy. So it was a natural progression, if you like.
Because I noticed a lot of banks are now universal banks, and some people criticize that because they feel it means that some sectors don't get the needed attention. Does being a universal bank in any way take away from the original focus of the bank?
You see, what you will find is that when you're a bank or a financial institution and you deal with clients, the clients are not monolithic. They are interconnected. So the CEO of the big company you're speaking to has a personal life and has personal financial needs. These companies are linked to other companies who are their suppliers, their vendors, etc. So more and more in getting or deepening your relationship with your clients, you find all these interconnected parts, and it's much better if you can provide a holistic solution to the client, because all these things are preoccupations for the client. So in order to offer the ultimate service to your client, you then increasingly get involved in all the other sectors as well, and the knowledge you have gained is useful.
So it's a natural progression.
It is quite.
How has banking changed since the 70s? Of course, you are not doing banking yourself in the 70s, but you have the institutional memory as UMB. How has the landscape changed for good and for bad?
So, I mean, in the 70s, banking was very much restricted to almost like a face-to-face. And so obviously the barriers of entry for banks were much higher. You had to have massive investments into brick and mortar. You had to have massive investments into human resource and the training of that human resource thereof to build those sort of relationships. It was much slower, and the expectations were much lower in those times. Now, fast forward, as the economy has grown, broadened, we've got much more competition coming through, and technology has also played a very big role. What I call the democratization of technology has enabled the barriers of entry to become much lower. So today, you can reach your customers regardless of where they are, if you put in the right sort of channels. And therefore, when you are working with a customer, you are not only looking at other banks as your competition, you are looking at other industries who are also sort of coming into the financial services sector as a result of the technology that they're using. So we are converging somewhat with some of the other industries as well, but also presents a big opportunity. Because hitherto, for us to reach or serve some clients, we had to design everything ourselves and invest in everything ourselves. Now there's an opportunity to partner and to collaborate, so that the investment cost is shared, and then we all also share the revenues that come out of it as well.
This is a Citi Breakfast Show. We're talking to the CEO of UMB. They are 50 years old, and he's in the person of Dwemoh Benneh. The bank is celebrating it with some interesting activities we'll be talking about. But just elaborate a bit on digital stuff. So you're saying banking has evolved. Mobile phones have become tools for banking. But can we say that the technology usage in banking is making banking more expensive, or is it making it more accessible to poorer people? My question is, are you getting more people banked by reason of the way technology is working?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very relevant question, one that we continue to grapple with. By the very nature of how banks are set up, there's a certain level of costs that you cannot necessarily pass on to some sectors of the economy, or you cannot effectively pass on to some sectors of the economy because of technology and the rise of fintech in places like Ghana, which is very much well known for the talent in sort of the areas of fintech. New models are emerging where the cost to serve the clients are much lower. What we are finding that if we partner with such fintechs, we are able to offer some services through their channels, which makes it easier in terms of the cost to serve and more convenient to the client as well. So we cannot necessarily compete toe to toe in some of those sectors, but what we do is that we partner because they also cannot offer everything that the client wants, and so through the partnership we both are able to put our products and services and make it accessible to the client using the most convenient channel which the client sort of
our banking sector is considered very competitive. How is UMB doing? How are you surviving? Some people even think it's a hyper competitive banking sector in Ghana.
It is, but I think post the financial reforms that came into the country and the capitalization that the banks had to adopt, we are now positioned to be able to offer more to our clients. And at UMB, one of the things we focus on is to look at each client individually to see what is the need for that client and serve the customer client by client. The good thing as well is that due to the capitalization, now we find more and more that as banks we can collaborate among ourselves. So we do not have the largest balance sheet, and if we are serving a client and the client needs go above what we can serve, we reach out to some of our other banks through syndications and through collaborations, and increasingly we find a lot of banks interested in that as well. We've been able to do a few of such key deals as well. So now we are not so constrained by our size alone. And I think that is as a result of most banks having to capitalize, having to get capital, which they can then deploy through some of these syndications as well.
You did a rebranding a few years ago where the look and feel of the bank is different. So Merchant Bank looked a bit, some horse, be white, something. Now it looks golden. But has that been translated into your service, or is it just a logo? Talk to me about your brand evolution, your rebranding.
I think our rebranding has struck some success, but it's still work in progress. As you see, the old brand was quite dominant in the minds of our clients, and they saw it very much as a corporate type branding. And as we looked back at the skill set we had gained, we thought, okay, this is very applicable to the other segments as well. And the rebranding, I think, was done in that spirit to send that message across. Fast forward about 8 years after the rebranding has been done, what we've noticed is that we are building the portfolios in some of the other segments gradually. And what we aim to do is to try and use service, which has always been characteristic of the way Merchant Bank has worked in this UMB world, to build our segments, especially in the SME and in sort of the retail space as well. We've chalked some modest success, but we actually aim to do much better.
What is your digital offering like? I've heard of your Speed app. Tell me a bit about your unique digital offering as against your main competitors.
So for us, I mean, our Speed app is our flagship, and we get really positive feedback from it as well. And we have all sorts of the other channels that we offer. Now, when it comes to digital channels and apps, there's not much in terms of differentiation. For us, the way in which we differentiate is that we try and aggregate as much as possible the kind of channels or the kind of platforms that our customers are showing that they are interested in transacting with. So that when you come to our Speed app, wherever you want to go, whichever bill you want to pay, you are more than likely to find it on our Speed app. That way, then you sort of stay with us and do the other things that the Speed app sort of has to offer as well. So it's a lot of customer interaction, and the enhancements we do are very much customer led. We pride ourselves on trying to bring a Ghanaian perspective to banking. And so we try to design with the customer rather than just bring, if you like, the latest in thing and onto our platforms.
I know because of the nature of banking, it's a very conservative profession, and there are so many rules and standards. So it's not that a bank is not like a football team where you can put your imprint like Jürgen Klopp on Liverpool or Pep Guardiola on Man City. But leadership is still very important, right? So you've been in charge for a few years now. What's your own leadership idea? Where do you want to take the bank? What is your agenda from a leadership perspective for this brand?
Yeah, so the last year has been exciting for me since I sort of joined the bank with a team. What I find is a very dynamic and enthusiastic team. We spent a lot of time trying to decide for ourselves what's the future that we want to build, and we're very clear in our minds. UMB has a very strong corporate heritage and a strong portfolio of corporate. We want to build a strong SME portfolio. So we are an SME-focused bank.
Okay.
We are looking to do that by linking what our corporate portfolio has and try to build a strong SME for that. We also want to become a digital-first bank. And digital first for us is both in and out. How do we digitize our operations inside so that we offer seamless service to the customers? And how do we also offer the kind of digital services that our clients are asking for? And I think if we're able to do these two things, build a very significant SME portfolio and also make inroads into becoming a digital first bank, then we will be satisfied that we're sort of gaining. And finally, we want to make sure that our Speed app becomes, if you like, a significant sub-brand that attracts particularly the youth and our retail customers.
So what are some of the activities earmarked for the 50th anniversary?
Our 50th anniversary is dedicated to our customers.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. So we're spending a lot of time with customer interactions.
Right.
We launched with staff. and energized ourselves, but now we're sort of going outward to customers. So we're expecting to do a lot of customer interaction, customer celebrations as we go along, and to bring some sort of thought leadership to our customers as well, as they grapple with the changes that are in our financial sectors at the moment.
I see. So will you be doing any seminars, any, they will say 50 years of banking challenges and prospects?
Indeed, we have some key partnerships with some of the flagship investees in the country. We're talking to them to see how we can collaborate to do things together. We have partnerships with the Commonwealth Investment and Economic Council, and so we can bring some sort of thought leadership from there as well. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to do to add value to sort of our clients, because as you know, the world has changed quite dramatically now, and most people are looking for ways to navigate in this.
Finally, what are the prospects of the bank and the whole banking sector? Where do you see the financial sector and UMB maybe in the next decade? How optimistic are you about the future?
I'm very optimistic. I think that we have a unique opportunity at this particular moment to take advantage of actually what is happening there. We've talked about the unbanked for a very long time. I think this time is a time through what the fintech are doing and what technology is doing, where we can start to tackle this in a very meaningful way. The Africa Free Trade is out there. They've launched the Pan-African payment system. It provides unique opportunities for linkages across different countries. Now, we sit in Ghana and we order products from China, and we pay, and it arrives at the post. And there's nothing stopping us imagining ordering maybe flowers from Kenya, and paying through these payment systems and getting it arriving and on Kenya Airways in Ghana. Those are the sort of new things that are coming, that are offering a lot of opportunities. That's why we are optimistic that even being an indigenous bank, we can spread our tentacles to other geographies. Not necessarily going to build there, but through these sort of partnerships and using these new emerging platforms that are coming.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, Nana Dwemoh Benneh. Congratulations on 50 years of existence in Ghana. We're looking forward to the next 50 with a lot of expectation.
Thank you very much. And, your application form is in the post near you.
Amazing stuff. I get in touch with them online as well. I think it's UMB Ghana dot.
My UMB.
Oh, my UMB. I see, my UMB Ghana. .com. Amazing. Nana Dwemoh Benneh is the CEO. UMB is 50, celebrating in the year 2022, founded in 1972. 11 minutes past 10, we'll come back and talk to Horizons offices, a fully furnished service office provider based in Accra, Ghana, with a presence in Kenya and Nigeria. They provide world-class working space home to Africa's businesses with prime locations on the continent's business hubs. So how can they help your business? What can they do for you to take your business to the next level? I have